Hi, everybody. This is Beach Cricket. Um, I have some great news. I have been doing a lot of my ancestry through ancestry.com and 23andMe, and I finally got an answer. I had a close relation ancestry match, DNA match, when I first got myself analyzed. And I had messaged the person and I hadn't heard anything back. So I was like, let me do it again. So I did. Today I messaged again and said, it's okay if you don't want to respond, but I'm really curious if you're a half brother or a grandson, because I know I have both out there that I don't have a connection with. So he responded today, which was so wonderful because my father my father was a lab technician in the Navy, very handsome guy, and women were always attracted to him. And he was young, and I have half siblings because of that. So anyway, this is a result of that same scenario. I was so happy he responded back and said, "Well, I think I'm your half brother." And he told me some details about his situation. And what it was is his mother and my dad got together, and he was born. They, I don't know if they had been dating or what behind my mom's back, for a while or whatever. But she went back to where relatives were, and she had her little baby boy, and then she put him up for adoption. And then he was adopted out, and he had no idea about anything concerning his father. He had a little bit of information about his mother, his birth mother, and she never told anybody who the father was. So when the match came up, and real strong, like really a high percentage, and I knew it had to be somebody very close related. I was so excited that I had found my half brother. And he was too, because he has not known his identity. He knew a little bit about his mom, and it was very little. And he had no clue, had no idea about anything pertaining to his father until today when I responded back to him, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then we actually got to talk on the phone. I called him, and I was so shocked because he sounded like my father. He really did. And it was just like, whoa, you sound just like my father, our father. And he's like, wow, really? Anyway, he was thrilled, you know, beyond, because he had no clue of who he was or where he came from, pretty much. And he said within I don't know if it was a couple of years or so ago, that he made contact with his birth mother and their family, and they opened him with open arms, which is great. And now, today, he found out who his father was through me, and same scenario. We're here for you, brother. So it was really, really, really great. Ancestry.com, that was the main reason why I opted to do this. And then I also did 23andMe. I had siblings that I knew of that they were out there, and like I had this really strange situation where my brother and I, one of my brothers, I have many brothers, we were visiting our mother in Memphis, and we were around the corner in a little hole in the wall pool hall, just playing pool together, when some of my brother's friends called him by our, our heritage name, our last name, which is Yoho, very unusual name, and comes from Switzerland, by the way. Anyway, Swiss and German and all that. So anyway, this guy turns around and you can feel because he was with a group of guys and they were in the service, and he turned around and you could see him looking because they were like, "Hey, oh," saying hi to my brother, and he turned around because he knew that name. He walks over to me and my brother and he goes, "Did I hear them calling you Yo?" And my brother said, "Yeah, that's my last name." And he goes, "By looking at the two of you, I would say you're Christine, and I'm not sure, you look a little younger, so you're either so and so or so so." Anyway, he knew our names, and we were shocked. We were like, and he goes, "Well, let me just explain real quick." He said, "Your dad met my mom. She was a nurse at a naval hospital," and he told us where. And he said, "I'm the result of that." And we're like looking like, what? And then his buddies started yelling for him because they had called a taxi. They had, came out in a taxi and played some pool, and it was time for them to go. So he said, "Well, bye," and didn't even tell us his name. So as he was walking away, my brother and I, we just looked at each other, and I'm like, "Did that really just happen?" And he goes, "Yep." And I'm like, "Wow." So we knew of my dad fathering a little girl um, outside the marriage when I was about, I would say, between 10 or 11 years old. And that has bothered me all my life because I know I have a sister, and I have a slew of brothers, which I love. Um, but I've never had a sister, and I know I have one, and that was the reason why, along with the fact that I found out that others were out there. um, I wanted to locate my siblings, and today was one of those landmark, beautiful moments where I got to meet a sibling, a brother, and he was incredible, really fun, loving, kind of happy, kind of beautiful spirit. I was so thrilled to hear that. I was like, yes, I could tell he was one of us. And he was born 5 years after me. So he was born where we were raised in Pensacola, Florida, for the most part. And so it helped put all the puzzles together, pieces of puzzles together for him so that he could finally understand who he was and where he came from. And he just kept saying, "This is just incredible. This is just incredible." Because I sent him pictures of my dad, and I've sent him all kinds of information about our ancestry. I'm going to share with him some of the medical aspects of us so that he will be informed on the whole picture, so he'll know what we are all about, and that includes him. So it was really just marvelous. It was like how I've always wanted to connect with my siblings that I don't know. There was just an instant, just really comfortable level of talking with each other, and it was really great. So that's my good news for today. It just warmed up my heart, my soul, my whole being, knowing that I've met another sibling, and I just am just beyond thrilled. And if you were looking for somebody in your family history that you've been, wondering about or wanting to know about, or whatever the case is, I really encourage, because a lot of people are scared too. They're like, I don't know what they'll think of me, and all the stuff. You just have to look at the whole picture of the whole existence of what is going on, and just really embrace it with a true heart, because it felt so good to know who he was. There's an ancestor in my little chart here, and it's like I have a nephew on top that's closest as far as high percentage of DNA match, and then there was this person, and I knew it had to be a sibling, or a grandchild, because it was that margin of level of the DNA. And so it feels good to know who that person is, but it also gives me great joy to know that I have helped him know all about who he is, because it's been a big question mark in his life. He's had no idea what, where, who, nothing. And since I've done my ancestry, it has made me become more alive and aware of who I am as a person. I mean, to know the levels that you have from all the history prior to you, when you really undertake that knowledge of all of that, it really makes you humble in so many ways, and it makes you feel, I don't know, it just makes you feel more alive, because you have the history that goes along with how you got to this point, and you are here, you know, in this world. And it means a lot to me. I mean, I can't even imagine not knowing who my parents were, or where I came from, or anything, or not knowing relatives. I mean, all of that has played a major, um, really important just existence to me as a person, to know and to experience all of them. And yeah, so not only did he get that today, then he got the blessing of finding out where he came from. I mean, I think he did his DNA to probably find that out, but he didn't make a tree. Well, he didn't really know where to start, because, he really didn't know that much about his parents or relatives or anything. So now he knows. And to find out I mean, I was blown away by, finding out all the different aspects of our ancestry, because there's a strong British line, that's the biggest one. And there's knights, and there's all kinds of ladies and lords and archbishops and everything in that line. And then the next one is the Scottish heritage, and it goes all the way back to the kings, in Scotland, and the ladies and the lords and the baronesses and the knights and all that. So, wow, that has got to be mind blowing to him because it was mind blowing to me. He didn't know who he came from or where he was, and now he's finding out his ancestry. So, yeah. So that was today. I was really happy to experience that, and I just wanted to share my joy. And you know, it's like there are so many people that don't have the opportunities or the blessings that you do in your life growing up. And this really made me so grateful and to feel so blessed that I had that. You know, I had that comfort zone. I mean, he grew up very happy and healthy. There was no problem in that aspect, but still, you don't know who you came from, and that's got to be weird. I mean, that's got to be a void in some kind of um, I don't know, just the existence of wanting to know, because we all, who are we? What are we? You know, we all question that as we grow up. So anyway, that's the good news today. You guys wake up and live, have your adventures, enjoy your life because, hey, it's yours. So we'll see you in the next video. Beach Cricket saying bye. We'll see you.